Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of Andrewsfootball.com. Welcome to my breakdown of the New England Patriots. If you're new to my channel, there's this button right down here. See it, see it, see it. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. My channel, scientifically proven to make all your wildest dreams come true. Here's how my breakdown videos work. I break down what I like. Then I break down what I don't like. But stick around to the very end while I break down the Vegas over-under. And if you should put action down on the New England Patriots, and let's talk about what I like about the Patriots. First off, Tom Brady. Everybody knows the story about Tom Brady. The number one thing I like about Brady is that this is a sixth-round draft pick. To put this into perspective, the Kansas City Chiefs drafted quarterback last year, Kevin Hogan, in the fifth round, didn't even make the team. A sixth-round draft pick, you're not guaranteed to make the team. The way it works nowadays, usually first, second, and third round picks usually make the team. Fourth round's kind of so-so. But fifth, sixth, and seventh, usually you're on the fence. When they drafted Brady, you had Drew Bledsoe, number one pick overall, talented quarterback. So there was no guarantee that he had a roster spot. He had to work his way up. It wasn't like Peyton Manning, who was, a big name, number one player coming out of high school, started, at a major college as a true freshman, number one pick in the draft. No, Brady had to work his way up the ladder. And even if you don't like Brady, you got to admire his toughness and his work ethic. And the fact that he wasn't given anything, he had to earn it every step of the way. Extremely impressive. I could make this whole video about how much I respect Tom Brady. I'm not a Patriots fan, but I respect Tom Brady. You can make an argument, greatest quarterback of all time. It's really hard to defute that argument. I don't think he is the greatest quarterback of all time, but it's really hard to say that he's not. You can't just flat out say, no, he's not the greatest quarterback of all time. You can make a very valid argument that he is. Second thing I like, and it's almost the same thing, word for word, it's just instead of quarterback, coach, and it's Bill Belichick. This guy started out as a assistant special teams coach for the Baltimore Colts in the 70s. I want to say 74. But he's been coaching for a long time. You can make an argument. The one thing I like about Belichick is that he's not, a lot of times where you have success and you win Super Bowls and you do it a particular way, you just say, hey, it's my system, my way. No, he's actually changed with the times. He's changed his style. If you look at every single Super Bowl victory of the New England Patriots, something's a little different here and there. They've won different ways. They've won early on with a strong running game. They won later on for the strong passing game. They won last year with a strong defense. So they've done it a lot of different ways. Actually, the most impressive thing of Belichick's career might actually be when he was assistant, or actually he was the defensive coordinator for New York Giants. The Buffalo Bills came in winning the AFC Championship game 51-3. They weren't huge favorites, but they were favored, and the New York Giants came up with a very creative defense, held them to 19 points, and one of the more exciting Super Bowls, first four for the Buffalo Bills. But bottom line, that might have been the most impressive thing he was slowing down that Bills offense, because nobody had an answer until Bill Belichick came up with an answer. Like I said, I could ramble on about how much I respect Bill Belichick and the job he's done. Like I said, same thing with Brady. I can make an argument Bill Belichick's the greatest coach in the history of the game. The difference is between Belichick and Brady is I actually do think Belichick is the greatest coach in the history of the NFL. I don't think Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time, but together they've had a 2-decade dynasty, something that we're never going to see again. Okay. Third thing I like is the draft. I actually did a video on some draft crushes. I had 4 of them. One of them was N'Keal Harry, who I didn't think there was any way he would get to pick number 32. It was actually funny, before the season started, the college football season started, some people were talking about N'Keal Harry going number 1, and I joked around, it's like, how much will Herm Edwards hurt his stock? Because Herm Edwards took over as the coach at Arizona State, and for those of you that are Jets fans or Chiefs fans know that Herm likes a conservative offense. So it might have hurt his draft stock, but bottom line, if you're a college player and you end up being drafted in the first round, that's not bad, especially going to New England. That's really not bad. But I actually had a real big draft crush on N'Keal Harry. He had 27 reps on the bench press. He had a really good combine, and he had good game film. This is a big guy who actually ran punt returns. I don't want to ramble, but I really like N'Keal Harry, especially at 32. Joe John Williams, he's a bigger corner coming out of Vanderbilt. Chase Winovich, I really liked him coming out of Michigan. The 3 third-round picks the Patriots got: Winovich, Damian Harris, and Yadni Kajost. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But Kajost, actually, there was a lot of talk about him going in round 1. The other 2 players were supposed to go somewhere in the middle rounds. But all 3 of these guys will benefit or actually contribute this year. Actually, Kajost might be a backup. But this is a guy who's capable of playing day 1. So I really like the picks that they've made. I've been a fan of some of the Patriots draft. I've also not liked some of their draft picks. But this draft is one of the better drafts the Patriots have had. Again, I had a draft crush on N'Keal Harry, so I really, really love that draft pick. Fourth thing I like about the New England Patriots is that the streak that they're currently on. They've been to an AFC Championship game every year since 2011. Plus, they've been in the last 3 Super Bowls, winning 2, of course, winning last year's Super Bowl. So this is a team that's able to overcome adversity. This is a team that knows how to get there. This is a team that, when they get in the playoffs, you're just like, oh, no, not these guys again. Bottom line, there's not anything that these guys can't overcome. They lose a game or 2 early in the season, or they're not a number 1 seed. There's no need to worry. They've been in this situation before. How many teams in NFL history have been down 28-3 in the Super Bowl and won? None. There's only the New England Patriots. So I like that past. I like the streak. It's something that I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of dynasties, okay? Last thing I'm going to talk about that I like about the New England Patriots is how they won in the playoffs. They gave up in 3 playoff games 122 rushing yards total. 3 games, 122. But they ran for 155 against the Chargers, 176 against the Chiefs, and 154 against the Rams. If you do your math, it's 475. So basically in 3 playoff games, they basically quadrupled their opponent's rushing yards. And it's old school football, it's just bottom line. You stop the run, you run the ball, you win games. It's old school. So even in the pass happy era, instant replay and all that other stuff, the Patriots won 3 playoff games the old-fashioned way. They stopped the run, and they ran the ball. So, kind of to recap the things I like about the New England Patriots, Brady and Belichick. I could go on about both of them for hours upon end. I don't need to. I like the draft that they had this year. I think multiple players out of this draft will contribute this year for the Patriots. I think they had a really good draft. I like the history of this team. I like the streak that they're currently on. Bottom line, in order to break the streak, you gotta beat the best. So I like streaks in sports. I like teams that are saying, "Hey, we've done this before. We can do it again." And then I liked how they won in the playoffs. They won by running the ball and stopping the run. 3 playoff games, giving up 122 yards. Very impressive. You got a lot of talked about on the offensive side of the ball, but they won old school. So let's talk about what I don't like about the New England Patriots. Okay, you lose your defensive coordinator to take the head coaching job in Miami. Of course, 2 years ago, Matt Patricia took the head coaching job in Detroit, so losing assistant coaches is not a new thing. This year it's different because they went outside their organization with Greg Schiano. They brought in Greg Schiano, a guy who I'm a big fan of. I thought was a great coaching hire, but then he resigned. So currently the Patriots don't have a defensive coordinator, and that's different. And they've always lost assistant coaches. They've always been able to just kind of bring people up from within. Not this year. This year something different. They weren't able to promote it for a defensive coordinator from within. Of course, Bill Belichick, an old school defensive coordinator, will probably be in control of a lot of that defense. But this is something new and something different that they weren't able to just get somebody from within. They went from the outside in and then Greg Schiano left. So it's two things that are really unusual with the Patriots way. Also keep in mind, Flores, he took Chad O'Shea with him. He's going to be the offensive coordinator in Miami. He took Jerry Shablinsky, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, assistant quarterback coach, and then Josh Boyer, the defensive pass coach, cornerback coach. He took those three guys with him to Miami. So not only did you lose your defensive coordinator, which you weren't able to replace, you lost multiple assistants. It's happened before, but this year you didn't replace your defensive coordinator. That's different. Another thing I don't like is the free agent losses. Again, they've done this before in the past. They lose big name free agents. I can go through the history of the New England Patriots, and I can name off big names that they lost. But bottom line, I like Trey Flowers. I like Tre Brown. Malcolm Brown, he's only 20. He was 25 last year. He'll be 26. I really like that player. You lose half of your defensive line. You also lost Rob Gronkowski, who I think he'll be in Hall of Fame someday. Some people think he's first ballot Hall of Famer. But bottom line, the players that the Patriots lost, I really liked. And keep in mind, even though the Patriots have been doing this for 2 decades, it's still unproven. All right? Keep in mind, yes, you've had 2 decades of success. But bottom line, when you lose these players, you have to have players step up. And they haven't had that happen as of yet. It hasn't happened. Will it happen? Sure. Players are going to step up. It happens all the time. Patriots have been doing this for 2 decades, but it's still question mark. You can't sit here and say that, oh, yeah, we got a guy, Trey Flowers. He's going to be just as good as Trey Flowers. You still don't know until it actually happens. So it is still a question mark. Next thing I don't like is that if you look at the last 3 years of the New England Patriots, the 3 Super Bowl years, you see 14 wins. Of course, that awesome 28-3 comeback. Then they had 13 wins. They lost the Super Bowl. But last year, it's 11 wins. And then I was at the AFC Championship game. I was at Arrowhead. I'm a Chiefs season ticket holder. They held Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to 0 points in the first half. Then the Chiefs scored 31 points in the second half. Here's the thing. They lose the coin flip. They lose the game. Then in the Super Bowl, a very impressive Super Bowl, but Todd Gurley's not healthy, okay? 62 yards rushing, 260 yards total. Does that happen with a healthy Todd Gurley? It's an excellent question, okay? It's an excellent question, but bottom line, you go from 14, 13 to 11, but that 11, Rams don't have their best offensive player. AFC Championship game, they need the coin flip. They don't win that coin flip, they don't win the game. So you can see how the team's beginning to decline over the last 3 years. All right? And bottom line, I already mentioned that they lost coaches, they lost players, they're not filling the defensive coordinator position like they've done in the past. The final thing I can say that I don't like about the New England Patriots, all dynasties die. All right? All dynasties die. It's just a question of when. Has the window already closed? Brady's 42, all right? He turned 42 August 3rd. Belichick 67. These guys aren't going to play and coach forever. All right? You're watching probably the most impressive NFL dynasty in the Super Bowl era. I'm not going to go into the Browns in the 50s and the Packers in the 60s. Let's just talk about, modern era football. We'll never see anything like this again. But here's the thing, the window is closing. My question is, has it already shut? So let's just recap. The losses in the coaching staff and that you weren't able to replace the defensive coordinator from within like you've done every other time a defensive coordinator has left. Player losses. I really like these players. Again, this has been the Patriot way, but I really like the players that they lost. These were good young players, so it's going to be a difficult challenge. Again, this is something Patriots have done in the past, but it's still a difficult thing to do. Yes, they've been to the last 3 Super Bowls, but it seems like 14, 13, and 11. The team seems to be in decline. And then finally, all dynasties do come to an end. Brady's 42, Belichick 67. Brady's not going to play forever. Belichick's not going to coach forever. Is the dynasty over? All right. So what I say, stick around to the end where I talk about the Vegas over-under. And if you should put action down on the New England Patriots, the over-under is 11. And people are really liking the over because the over is negative 140. So you have to wager $140 just to win 100. But if you want to go under 11, it's plus 120. So a $100 wager will win you 120. Now, here's the thing. This schedule really benefits New England. I really like their schedule. Their first 8 games, I'm just going to level with you. I think the Patriots could win their first 8 games. I think they could be 8-0 going into Baltimore. This is a pretty easy schedule for the most part. Here's the thing. They have a tough 5-game stretch. I really think that they could go 8-0, and then it's at Baltimore, at Philly, Dallas at home, at Houston, and then they have the Chiefs at home before they finish at Cincinnati. And then 2 home games to end the season, Buffalo and then Miami. Having Miami come to New England last game of the year in December, I think is... As far as season enders, I think the schedule makers really did a good job with this, except for that tough 5-game stretch. So really, I could see them going 11-0, except for that 5-game stretch. And you know they're going to win 1. Out of those 5 games I mentioned, you know for a fact they're going to win at least 1. So I have a hard time saying, hey, bet the under. Now, I would not advise betting $100 for negative 140. I didn't do the math. I should have, but I think it'd be something like $70. So basically, to bet $140 to win 100, I don't like that. Okay? So I wouldn't do that. However, if I got better numbers, I do think that they are going to win over 11. The schedule makers really did them a favor, except for that 5-game stretch. I actually think that they'll start off the season 8-0. I really do. But Dan, here's the thing. I think the dynasty's over. Okay, they're not going to win another Super Bowl. I think it started and ended with the Rams. I think the dynasty is done. However, are they going to win more than 11 games? I actually think they will, but I don't see them winning another Super Bowl. I think the dynasty is officially over. But what happens in a horror movie? They keep coming back. Hey, they keep coming back. So until the credits roll, the dynasty's still rolling. However, I think it's over. But bet against the Patriots at your own will. I would take over 11, but I don't like negative 140. So, hey, listen, if you're a subscriber to Andrews Football, you already know you're one of the greatest people on planet Earth. All your wildest dreams are going to come true. Check out some of my playlists. And, of course, there's this button right here. See it. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. Wednesday and Friday, I'm going to have videos about my Kansas City Chiefs. Wednesday, I'm going to talk about what I like. Friday, I'm going to talk about what I don't like. So, hey, let's talk Chiefs Wednesday.